Grand Rise, Willie Whittle, It Shall Be Dope. This is the podcast. Let's get into it. Yo, I know that recently I've been on some different tangents, and this has been a very uh, trying, emotional, high energy, well, energized. Let me call it energized week. Um, for me, my family, for my friends. Um, I just spent a couple days in the hospital last week um, because I got I'm on blood thinners. Gotta get myself together and uh, back in roughly 2021 I had these pulmonary embolisms, which is, if you don't know, it's blood clots that's getting your lungs, and them shits almost killed me in 21. You know what I mean? And it's crazy to sit there and be in the hospital for your 38th birthday or whatever, and sitting there like, man, this is life, but this is better than what was happening, a couple days ago. So this week just passed. I was feeling kind of the same way, and I kind of scared myself into getting up and going to the hospital and at 2 in the morning, and I'm like, man, let me just go down here and let them tell me I'm tripping, right? Because that's how we men have to convince ourselves to like go to the doctor. Like, man, let them tell me ain't nothing wrong or whatever. And I went down there, and the doctor was like, no, you was right. Something's wrong. But then they said, we're glad that you listened to yourself. And I think that's the point. Like, now, to get through everything else, I spent a couple days in the hospital afterwards, got some medicine, cleared up my clots. I'm good now. So everything's good, right? But I think that statement was really important. Um, you got to listen to yourself. And what we tend to forget a lot of times is listening to our own frequencies and our own wavelengths in our body and our communication with us. Um, it has nothing to do with getting into a deeper self or anything like that. It's just recognizing your body's talking. You know what I'm saying? We're talking. Everybody's like, inside you have, like, we always got the little person in our head that's telling us one thing, but then the machine is letting you know how it sounds, and how it feels as you go. And we just gotta listen. We just gotta listen. We're vibrating. We have our frequencies, and they have to be in order. And you gotta keep your machine in motion. So I appreciated that statement more than anybody knew. Like, because when she said that, it's like, I'm glad you went. And everybody afterwards said the same thing. Like, man, I'm really glad that you went, because it could have got worse, real quick. And for me, it wasn't as bad, on the X-rays, but it was like, no, it's something there for sure, and you was gonna feel the effects of this in a couple weeks, like. So I took care of it, and it's kind of like that in relationships, and it's kind of like that with the vibe of how you project your energy, right? Because I'm a happy-go-lucky kind of guy. Like, I really like to be myself in every room that I walk into. Um, I'm always thinking of trying to make light of a situation or jokes or something. And I've really dived into getting into my, like, taking notes and understanding, reading the room bag a little bit more. But I'm still me, right? I still have to bring, like, some kind of aspect of myself into the room. And I think what happens is, um, those frequencies that I vibrate on tend to change the environment that I'm in. And it's special because it's not a lot of people who could do that, right? Um, one of my previous pods was about being a thermostat or the thermometer. Um, it's kind of the same thing, but your frequencies and your wavelengths that you vibrate on when you have conversations, when you talk to people, when something happens, and how you give that energy back is very important and very like a very intricate thing. Um, when I went back to the office on Tuesday, I go in and everybody's, I go in early. Nobody's there before me. It's like one or two people. And they're like, "Oh my God, we're glad you're here." Like, and I'm like, "Word!" Like, I'm glad I'm here too. I'm making jokes about everything. And then I just start vibing. Right? It's not a big deal. It's business as usual. But I'm also bringing me to the table again. So as people were saying, like, "Man, it's good to see you. We glad you healthy. We glad you back." I'm like, it's good to be back. Like, and I'm not in a mode of like, thank you. I appreciate the, nah, it's good to be back. Now we back at business. What's going on? Like, and I talked to my man in HR, and my man Wes is, my man Wes is cool. Wes is dope. Like, he's a dope dude. Um, Now he vibrates high. His wavelengths are crazy off the charts, right? So, and I like that. I like that about him. So we vibrated and we talked and stuff, and it's just like, man, we need to just get ourselves together and go to the gym, like. And I'm like, yeah, you talking about the gym that's like right in front of the building? That's crazy because it's right there. We have to walk past it to get to our cars, and we still don't go. But he was like, no, let's do it. Like, so I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And I think that, but it was important because he said, like, I kind of scared slash convinced him to go get checked. So, like, go check his heart and check everything and just make sure everything's cool. So, it was able to help, somebody see, like, man, let me just, go get my G check real quick. Tap in and say, like, man, am I healthy? And it's okay. Like, it's okay for a doctor to tell you, like, it's something wrong or whatever, like, because now you know and you can fix it. So my point is the energy that you bring to the table at the end of the day, when you have conversations, can definitely impact something else in your future. You could turn something that may potentially feel negative into something that vibrates at a positive frequency. And when that happens, it just resonates a different change in your environment, in the people that's around you, and the way that they respond to you, the way that they respond to themselves. That same energy, right? Beforehand, I had some stuff at work, and I'm like, well, it was a little tension or whatever. And the conversation, the recourse after, and then me being me, helped clear that. I feel like helped clear it up a lot, because I'm able to, get to a point where I'm still me. I'm not gonna let it change me. I'm gonna still continue to vibrate at the Willy Whittle frequency, and it's up to you to be on the same radio station if you want to or not. To be honest with you, because I can't account for how you feel, but I know what I'm bringing to the table and what energy I'm putting in the room. One of my favorite quotes from Jay, I dumbed down for my audience, doubled my dollars. They criticize me for it, but they all yell holla. And I say it again, just for for one, the whole fans, because if you're a whole fan, you know the bar. But my man said, I dumbed down for my audience, doubled my dollars. They criticized me for it, but they all yelled holla. The rest of it is, if skill sold, truth be told, I probably be lyrically Talib Kweli. Right? Truthfully, I want to rhyme like common sense, but I did 5 mics. I ain't been rhyming like common sense. It's a dope bar, simply because, like, in the music industry for Jay-Z, right? And we talk about, Hov being, you know, the MC of our time, right? And the one. in order for him to make the music that people wanted to listen to, they told him to chill out on all of the lyrical. People didn't want to hear that type rap, and just make the music that people want to play in the club. People want to hear your voice. You need to be marketable. And he's like, so to appeal to the audience that you want me to listen to, that you want to listen to me, I have to change me. And he did it. He did it because, he made a couple hits that was radio hits, right? And it was like, this ain't really, hard Jay-Z like they knew from the start. The Reasonable Doubt Jay-Z was like crazy. And then he came out with, we got to get you on the radio, we got to market you. And so, they told him, calm down on the deep with the lyrical, and everybody don't want to really hear that on the radio. Let's put out some club bouncy music. And he did that. So they dumbed down for my audience to double my dollars, right? He obviously started making more money. You get a whole bunch of airway play, and people start flocking. Like, they criticized me for it, but they all yell holla, holla, holla. I mean, come on, man. Like, these is hits that shaped the 90s, right? And the 2000s, and you could call it what you want, but he did it. But if skill sold, truth be told, I'd probably be lyrically Talib Kweli. Listen, understanding that lyrically Talib is one of the greats, and I had the privilege to run into Talib Kweli at like one of our malls out here, which was a great experience for me. And it was like, I know I'm just some guy. Like, it's just, he was like, hey, brother, COVID, you know what I mean? And I'm like, word, like, I was going to dap him up and everything. And I'm like, yeah, COVID, bro. But just the simple fact that, like, your potential shouldn't be held back, right? You shouldn't have to hold your potential back. You should be able to show your full potential and be who you are going to be at the end of the day. But sometimes, like, in these industries or in these groups, like, they wanted people to be different with the time. They were shaping hip hop, right? They were shaping a piece of culture that is now timeless. Right now, the best thing about music in general is that you can be yourself in so many aspects, and there's a pocket of people that like it. There's a pocket of people that like it. I mean, I listen to music from Conway the Machine to Japanese Breakfast, right? And it's like, man, this music can be so different, but it can get to you, it can vibe with you in so many different ways. So back to that statement, like, that's how you resonate in conversation also. Like, the same way that you can change from, professional to, man, what's up on the street. Like, it's cool. Like, you can, but you still vibrate, and your wavelength is still coming off as I'm me, right? And that's what that genuine authenticity does for you when it's in your vibration. Man, that's a good song, man. That's gonna be my song for the day. But listen, the main thing is continue to be yourselves. And don't feel ashamed, don't feel afraid. Like, your life is your life. First of all, you gotta live it. This was a scary feeling for me this week, or this past week, but it was also a scary feeling. The part that gets me the most is it was a very scary feeling for my friends and family. The conversations that I had, the support that I had, was huge. I fumbled the friend bag heavily on my boy, and I sat and I apologized to him. Because inside, like, I would have known how I felt if our shoes were switched, right? And I didn't give him the opportunity to care about me the way that, our friendship allows. So that's the other thing too. Like, you got to get out of your space, and you got to understand that the people who said they care for you, the people who are in your care circle, you got to allow them to be in your care circle. That's a hard pill to swallow for me, because I'm very much independent, very much the guy who says like, "Nah, I got it under control." Like, oh my God, I'm such a control freak. Um, but in times of care, in times of nurturing, in times of um, really being looked out for, you can't say like, "Am I my brother's keeper?" and then don't give your brother nothing to keep. So Hector, my man, once again, I'm sorry, uh, because I love you and you love me too, bro. And I know that we gotta be able to share these things. So my bravado, my manhood, all of that shit, um, put a little ding, a little chink in our armor. But we resolved it, and I understand my piece of the puzzle, right? So, and that's my brother, man. Like, we go. So same thing with the people who, like I said, was there, supported. I talked to throughout. It's dope, man. Like, I think you got to understand, like, the people that you keep around you, they change how you feel about a lot of things, and you get your emotions involved, and I'm really an emotional dude under all this armor that I carry around or whatever. Or I'm in shipping and receiving, so I call it like packaging, because my bubble wrap and I protect the goods. But we gotta really be a little more vulnerable in order for us to grow in a different way, and ride those wavelengths to a different place. I don't think that you should ever be ashamed of getting help. Don't be ashamed of getting whatever you feel checked on. Don't be afraid of letting your friends check on you. And remember, just be yourself. Just be yourself. Like, there's a niche and there's a pocket for you. But it starts with yourself. Like, you have to be confident in yourself. Like, I remember listening to an interview from 38 Special, and he was like, he was getting ready to give up music. And I think he's one of the greatest producers of our time right now. But he was like ready to quit on music, and he was older, roughly my age or whatever, I believe, or somewhere in his upper 30s. And he was like, "Man, I was ready to quit on music." And somebody came and told him, he was like, "Nah, keep doing it because you want to do it." Like, he had tried to change to fit the time, right? So kind of how Hove was like told to fit this demographic. That's a little different, like, because it was a time frame thing. Then, he 38 tried to do like, and if 38 ever hears this, man, get on, correct me if I'm wrong, but help me shape the interview again. But he says, I was trying to like find a pocket to fit in with my music, and I could do that. Lyrically he could do that, or music wise he could do that. But then he had to start making the music for himself, and he was like, "Man, I'm gonna make the music that I want to listen to." And then they said like, "Man, this is cool. Like, this is the music that we should be making. It's cool." And it became for him. It became for Trust. It became some of the stuff that shaped the West Side Guns, the Conway the Machines, Benny the Butchers, the Griselda Camp. Like, they started doing the music that was for them, and they pushed it. They just pushed it. So shout out to those guys, because I feel like I listen to a lot of that stuff, but it's more like you got to do what's right for you and what you feel. This podcast, It Shall Be Dope, is a brand that is designed for us to feel dopeness in ourselves. As long as you following the mission, your mission is peace, right? So at the end of the day, you're the only one who can listen to the drum beat of your mission. It's your path. however you feel like that path, goes, is how you need to move. And you can't let anybody else dictate how dope you're gonna be today. Like you wake up in the morning and you just get you together. You know how many people get up, the Get Ready With Me series on like Instagram and stuff, and they either the women like make their face and then they put on their outfits, or guys get their fits together and stuff, and it don't matter. They feel dope in the morning, right? Moving that energy, like, man, I feel dope this morning. And even if you don't, like, just understand what your wavelength is before you enter the world. Like, that way you can either ask for the help that you need, or protect your energy a little bit if you need to. Either way it goes, follow your mission. This is our path, right? This is our path to peace. And as long as you do it with love in your heart, it shall be dope. Till next time, everybody.